This is your Weather Extreme video for June 20th, Father's Day. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters, and thanks for tuning in and staying tuned to the Weather Extreme video, a daily feature. And really thought we'd get right to the Skycam this morning. Actually, I really thought about just changing the date from yesterday's and seeing if anybody caught it. Weather pattern not changing a whole lot, other than the fact that we had a few more showers yesterday than I really anticipated. But let's get right to the Skycam network, and there's one of my favorite shots, looking down the spine of the Appalachians as we look from the Mount Cheaha Skycam. How about Tuscaloosa? And it looks like a clear sky this morning. A little haze visible out there. And then kind of an interesting, colorful line in the picture at Selma. I'm not sure exactly why that colorful line is there, but it doesn't matter. Still showing a clear sky. High pressure over the southeastern U.S. At the surface, with some boundaries in there that actually helped to kick off some of those showers, and a few more than I expected yesterday. In the upper atmosphere, we're still under the influence of a strong ridge, beginning to shrink just a little bit as this, for the next week or so, it looks like the high pressure system will, the upper ridge anyway, will continue to grow and weaken and then grow. So it's it's a changing pattern without it changing much in terms of the weather as we stay under this ridge with scattered or isolated showers, very few of them actually, over much of the next week. Temperature-wise, it is still quite warm across the eastern half of the country, with temperatures all the way up to the southern edge of the Great Lakes in the 60s and 70s at 5 a.m. Around here, we're a little bit cooler with as a result of some of those showers and everything we had yesterday. Temperatures in the Tennessee Valley in the lower 70s primarily. When you get down into central Alabama, we range from about 66 to about 71 or so. And then when you get down to the Gulf Coast, they're around the lower 70s. Radar-wise, not much to show. Some offshore, and that's about it. Not much going on this morning at this time. QPF-wise, the QPF guys are suggesting that there's not much of chance for rain across our area. As you see, we're actually in the 0 area. I don't think I'm going to go quite that far. I do think that each day there is a possibility we'll see some isolated storms, but for the most part we stay relatively dry. Moderate risk of severe weather from the western half of Iowa across parts of Nebraska and South Dakota. That's surrounded by a large area of slight risk that extends all the way from near the Paducah area of western Kentucky, all the way across Illinois, Iowa, and back into Montana. The slight risk area changes just a little bit, but covering a lot of the same area for day 2. And then day 3, it shifts just a little bit further to the north a little bit, but still up over the Great Lakes area. And in the tropics, we see that there is not a great deal going on, but we do have this area we've been watching. And then in the Pacific, we also have, I guess it's Blay and Celia, or Blas. I'm not quite sure on that one. I didn't look up the pronunciation. And then if we take a look at our huge satellite image of the tropical Atlantic, we catch those two storms in the Pacific, as well as the disorganized cloud area that is now in the vicinity of Puerto Rico and approaching Hispaniola. All right, let's get right to the 06Z GFS model run, and here we go. We're going to go through this pretty quick because there's not a lot of change, and the GFS suggesting we won't see much in the way of showers today with our surface map for today at 1 o'clock. However, again, I think there is a possibility we'll see some isolated storms. Monday, the upper ridge holding strong over the southeastern United States as it noses its way up into the Great Lakes area. And that, again, Monday keeps us relatively dry with only the possibility of those isolated showers. The 594 contour raises its ugly head once again on Tuesday. By Wednesday, that has actually grown even stronger, despite the fact that there's a strong trough moving across the westerlies, which is dampening it a little bit, but it's not pushing it far enough south that it's not still impacting our weather. And now we're suggesting once again the possibility of some isolated showers. Thursday, the 594 retreats a little bit as that strong trough moves across, so it builds back into the central part of the United States, up into the Dakotas. And on Friday, that 594 contour does disappear, so it's ebbing and flowing a little bit. And once again, that still keeps us in a rather humid air mass where we will see some isolated showers. The ridge builds or migrates a little further eastward by Saturday, a week from yesterday, and then by a week from today, we still see that ridge, but there's another strong trough moving across the Canadian-U.S. border, and that helping to dampen things down just a little bit. But again, that keeps us in a rather somewhat unsettled pattern with those isolated, perhaps scattered showers and thunderstorms. All right, now out into Voodoo. And wow, this is not the look that we saw yesterday, but, you know, we know how Voodoo is. It changes a great deal. But first of all, the 588 contour line goes all the way into south-central Canada, and we did see that yesterday, but much deeper trough over the eastern half of the country. This would suggest that we might actually see a little bit of a cool down, except it's so far out in Voodoo, I'm not sure I'll put a lot of faith in it. And then finally, on the 5th, the day after the 4th, and we see that ridge a little weaker. That is, the 588 only reaches the Canadian border, doesn't go up into Canada, so it's a little bit weaker, but for us, it stays strong. Well, appreciate you tuning in to the Weather Xtreme videos. James Spann should be back in the hot bird or the catbird seat tomorrow. And in the meantime, I hope that you have a great Father's Day and enjoy this hot weather, but keep that heat in mind and take it into account. Hope that you have a wonderful Father's Day, and Godspeed.
Each day there are new stories to tell about the people who live here and the place we call home.
All of the faces that I see, all of the places close to me, they're all part of all the best things about home.
Sharing your stories on ABC 3340, Alabama's news leader.